we'd be going along just fine, and then someone would start to cry, and then we'd all start to cry. But we all got a chance to have closure. And we all had a chance to say goodbye to that world and to each other, and to have our individual private moments with one another. It was an acknowledgement of all that we had done together all those years.
Melissa Gilbert came to sit down next to Mike, and she was crying.
Michael and I were left alone, and I was crying. And he held me, and he said, don't cry. He said, don't cry, because for you this is just the beginning, and I know it. It's just the beginning. And, he was right.
Little House on the Prairie left television with a bang that has continued to echo down the years. Though it was never a critical favorite, the show's popularity with audiences has only grown over time.
It was a spring dance. May, I think. He brought me cornflowers from the meadow, and I put them in my hair. I fell in love with him that moment. And I've loved him ever since.
There is sort of a weird double standard of what Hollywood thinks is cool, and Hollywood likes, and applauds, and writes articles about Gazemis too, and what everybody else on the planet is watching. There were many, many shows in the 70s who were greatly acclaimed, and the critics adored them, and they won all the awards, and everyone made a big fuss. But they're not getting fan mail from South Africa and China now. Their DVDs aren't coming out on Blu-ray, and they're not having a cast reunion in the south of France.
I hear from people all the time talking about there is nothing like that on television today. There's nothing that I want to watch with my kids. It's awful. I would give anything to have Little House on the Prairie back.
It's like there's the industry shows and the people shows. And Little House on the Prairie was, has been, and shall be the people show. Do you remember how we used to fight?
I sure do.
Wonder if you can still beat me up.
I don't know. Want to fight?
Yeah. First, I want to see the baby.
Okay, come on.
Of course, there were a lot of people then that watched the show when I was growing up and watching the show. But because it got syndicated and then it's been on all these other stations, you've got new generations of fans that have been brought up on Little House.
There are people today who were teenagers and younger back in 1974, 75, and beyond, who are now sharing Little House with their children and grandchildren, in some cases, great-grandchildren. And there's something so beautiful about that.
You know, we go around the country meeting Prairie fans all the time. I've gone to book signings and had 3 and 4 generations. It makes me feel incredibly old. Coming up and, talking about how much they've enjoyed watching it originally when it first aired, and then their daughter watching it later and in reruns, and then their granddaughter with the DVDs.
And it boggles my mind how people come from all over the country, and we do mean a lot to them. The show means so much to them.
I was at an autograph show, and a woman walked in. She 40-something, so really grown up with the show. She walked in, she saw all the other people signing autographs, she saw the nameplate, she looked at me in her eyes, and this look of horrified recognition. She did not say hello, she did not say good morning, she did not say are you her, any of the normal things you'd start a conversation with. She looked at me, looked really angry, and then she said, I forgive you, and walked out.